I told you before, a lot of my students they struggle with what to put in a story. So I've made it super easy for you. There's a technique that I'm passing on to you today, which are the five elements of a story. Now, how to remember? There's so many elements in a story. How would we remember? So I've got a hand, as you can see on my screen. So what I'm doing, you can just write elements of a story. So what you can do, you can just trace your hand, okay? Elements of a story. So when I'm doing a creative writing, how do I remember these things, okay? So just have a look. It's a fun way. So the first thumb represents the plot of a story, okay? Plot means what is the story all about, right? The next would be the characters, okay? Characters. Yes. The next would be the setting of a story. Setting means the place and time where the story is taking place. A story will always have a conflict, some problem, okay? And then comes the theme. What is the theme? Okay, it is about kindness, perseverance, goodwill, good over evil, like that, okay? So these are the characters. Now, as you can see on the left hand side, I have got the picture of Cinderella today. We all know the Cinderella story, right? So when I'm talking about the Cinderella, what is the plot? I can say the plot of Cinderella's story would be a young woman which is mistreated by the stepmother. Yeah, she attends a royal ball with the help of the fairy godmother, okay, and then eventually she loses her glass slipper that she was wearing, and eventually marries the prince, okay. So the plot is like the short summary of what's happening in my story, okay. What's happening in my story? Simple. The next come the characters. Now, if I'm talking about the characters in Cinderella's story, how many characters did we had? We had the Cinderella, also called as the protagonist, the main hero or the main character of the story. So we had Cinderella. Just let me write all this, then you can copy this out, okay. The fairy godmother. Then I can write the prince, definitely, and the stepsisters and the stepmother you can describe. What is called as the setting now? Very important. Setting would be what? Setting means where the story is taking place. It's a kingdom. Agreed? Yeah, you can definitely the other location like the royal ball that we had and the palace, you can definitely describe that. Let me just quickly complete this for you. Now the next one that I want to introduce is the conflict, also called as the dilemma. Conflict of my story. What's the conflict? She faces the the problems where she is mistreated. Yes, mistreated by the grandmother, by the stepmother and the stepsisters, right? And the last one that I want to introduce would be the theme. So what is the theme? It shows what? That good always wins. Yeah, it could be about the kindness, determination, okay, goodwill, good over evil. Yes, very simple. So how do you remember the five elements of a story? You remember with my hand technique, where I've given you the five elements of a story, and I'm going to mark them again for you. First is the plot, second would be the characters, third is the setting, fourth would be the conflict, and the last would be the